Hello everyone and welcome back to fantasyfootballfix.com, the leading platform to help you build team value, helping you increase your overall rank and giving the best chance of winning those all-important mini-leagues. My name is FPL Phillips, or Eddie, and today I'm bringing you the latest installment in my series, Eddie versus the Algorithm. And this is a series where every week the computer-generated team by the Fantasy Football Fix algorithm puts together its own squad of 11 for the game week, and then I see if I can take it on, build a team of my own for that week, and see if I can beat it for points every week of the season. Now the scores are very close at the moment, and before we get into building the overall algorithm 11 for game week 25, we need to have a look at how we got on in game week 24. So let's have a quick recap now. And it goes without saying, just by looking at the team, that the algorithm sure as hell had a whopping game week. And despite no input from the starting forwards, which seems all too familiar so far this FPL season, it managed to score a total of 96 points, so almost hitting the 100 club for this game week, which didn't have too much of a high average score, to be honest. Myself, I managed to pick up a pretty decent total as well with a nice green arrow, and I hope some of you at home did as well. Ramsdale in goal with a nice 9 points after Arsenal's clean sheet last night against Wolves. Same with Trent Alexander-Arnold in Liverpool's game, earning him a decent total of 6. Cancelo with 7, Laporte with 6, and Cresswell with 8 as the entire defence came in and picked up clean sheets in their respective games. Bowen with a nice goal, De Bruyne with a goal as well, and Jota picking up 2 goals in midfield certainly helped the points total, where the Portuguese was the man who picked up a brace in Liverpool's victory last night, and then Son picking up a decent 7-point haul as well, with Antonio and Watkins up front once again failing to do the business. It really is a minefield to pick strikers right now, but Adam Eder on the bench did actually pick up an assist for Pukki's goal, which earned him a nice 5 points stuck there down on the bench, alongside Ben White, who also returned nicely, and Jacob Ramsey, who, as we know, picked up 2 goals in Aston Villa's game against Leeds, which turned out to be one hell of a thrilling match, and earning a nice 14-point return for him, unfortunately stuck at the 3rd sub point on the bench. But nonetheless, what a game week for the algorithm, 96 points, and let's have a look at my team and see if we managed to beat that total. And it turned out to be a game week of fine margins, with Robertson coming in for Cresswell and then Antonio dropping out for Edouard up front. But those minor changes I did make to the algorithm side, although turning out to be the right decision in the long run for holding most of the algorithm team in my side, actually didn't turn out to make all the difference, with myself dropping 3 points off the algorithm's 96 for a total of 93. That was mainly due to Cresswell scoring 8 over Robertson's 6, and then of course Edouard not starting that game for Crystal Palace, which did probably turn out to be the difference maker. Well, 2 instead of 1 if he did blank, but there was of course a chance that if Edouard did start, he could have got something in that game, maybe instead of Zaha for Crystal Palace against Norwich. In the end, didn't turn out to be quite the right choice, but I'm still very happy when we look at it in perspective with the 93-point total. Granted, he could just say I copied the algorithm, but I really did feel like this was the strongest possible team you could have, and if you use the free hit on this team, damn, you earned a hefty green arrow for this game week. But yeah, undoubtedly there are better opportunities to use it in the future, on paper at least, so maybe not the end of the world if you didn't use the free hit and get this team in. It would have been very hard to predict returns for all these players, of course. But a very nice score for myself and the algorithm this week, but it was the algorithm who eventually did take the fine margin and make it 13 all in the scores, so we'll change that now. 13 all in Eddie versus the algorithm. We're back to a tie. Now let's get into game week 25 and see what the algorithm team has come up with for this game week coming. So without further ado then, let's get into it. And a big predicted points total for the algorithm of 89. So we expected a big lineup. In goal then is going to be a doubler for the double game week 25. And that is Robert Sanchez in goal, the Brighton keeper who faces Manchester United and Watford in 2 away games this coming game week. And I'd have to say the Watford fixture is more the most attractive fixture of the 2. I was going to say much more, but really with how poor United have looked recently, you wouldn't say it's too much to separate the 2. But with Roy Hodgson coming in to manage Watford now, you'd have to say the attacking threat is even less. And with a side who've picked up only 1 goal in their last couple of game weeks, you'd have to say that game with a clean sheet potential for Sanchez is almost through the roof, especially with how good Brighton have looked defensively over the course of the whole season. Really very consistent indeed. United away is probably the tougher fixture of the 2, but only really marginally, with how many goals United have been letting slip themselves and how many they've been failing to score at home especially. With United looking pretty disjointed as a unit, you'd have to say maybe there's a decent chance of something in that game too, but really you're hoping for that clean sheet in the Watford game, and anything from the visit to Old Trafford for Brighton is an added bonus there. In terms of the defence, it's going to be a back four, of which Alexander-Arnold drops out of the algorithm 11 for the first time in as long as I can remember, really. Luke Shaw against Southampton and Brighton, with both games being played at Old Trafford, does look like an attractive set of fixtures, I should say, but with United's defensive woes, letting goals slip in every game right now, it seems to be, you would say that Southampton and Brighton, I could see a good chance of them nabbing at least one goal each in their visit to Manchester. Cancelo and Laporte stick in for the Citizens' visit to the Canaries, where they face Norwich away, and some nice fixture potential there for a clean sheet again, with how great Man City have looked at the back and how poor Norwich have been recently, or all season. Recently they've looked a bit better, but you still back Man City to get a clean sheet there out of all the fixtures we can see this week. That is one of the nicest looking. And then finally Cucurella, who doubles up with his Spanish counterpart in goal. Sanchez and his teammate are from Brighton in the double up for the back line there. Once again with those games against Man United and Watford. I think Cucurella is my favourite Brighton defender pick if you're looking to bring one in. However, he is a little bit more expensive than the likes of Webster and Veltman, who you could go for at cheaper alternatives if you do need to. The fixtures do look pretty nice, but Cucurella is the most nailed and the most attacking going forward, so I would say I would go for him if budget isn't an issue for you and you're looking to eye up a Brighton defender for the double game week that the Seagulls have. In midfield, once again, it's going to be a midfield four, with Bowen the only one retaining his place from the algorithm 11 last week. And it does seem hard to drop Jared Bowen right now with the form he's in, and with a nice fixture against Leicester, with how weak they've been looking at the back, especially against Liverpool, and how lacking strength their lineups have been right now. Going for Bowen does seem pretty much a no-brainer in midfield. Mahrez and Salah also the other single game week players to make up the midfield, with Salah returning from AFCON as well as Mahrez, who returns from Algerian national duty. Mahrez on penalties as well has looked very nice, and he looks a convincing penalty taker, which is always good when you're going for someone who is on penalties. And that away fixture against Norwich, if he does start, could be a fantastic one to target. Salah as well, you'd have to really go for him and say that bringing him in now is going to be a dilemma for a lot of people this week, with a Burnley fixture away that looks very, very nice indeed. A lot of people will be owning KDB, or the man you can see to the right of Salah on screen right now, Bruno Fernandes, and be considering a switch across to Salah. Less likely if you own Fernandes, more so if you own De Bruyne, but personally, I would stick with either one you have for the record right now. Salah and then Bruno Fernandes, the two premiums to make up the midfield four. With Fernandes, once again, those fixtures, Southampton and Brighton at home, you would have to back Bruno in a double game week after how we saw he did last time. A very, very nice points return for those who chose to bring him in and captain him, so credit to them. But a lot of people will be jumping on the hype train now, seeing United with a double game week. It's going to be up to Bruno to deliver in midfield and hopefully get those points returns for his owners. And then finally up front is Cristiano Ronaldo and Neil Maupay. So two doublers make up and complete the 11, with Maupay and Ronaldo both, of course, having those double game weeks for their respective teams, of which the fixtures we have already covered. So looking very nice. Ronaldo's underlying stats still do look very, very favourable indeed, which is, I'm assuming, why the algorithm would definitely have him in, given that they have a double game week. Neil Maupay as well, the ultimate troll of FPL, seems to creep his way into here, but I do prefer him as an option over Trossard if you're looking to go for a Brighton attacker, mainly because of how poor the forwards have looked and how many good midfielders there are right now. It makes sense if you're picking a Brighton asset to go for a player in a position where we're struggling to look for assets rather than one where there are absolutely stacked numbers, such as the players you can see in this algorithm team right now. For the captaincy, the armband is going to be on Cristiano Ronaldo, with the vice-captaincy being taken by Bruno Fernandes. So yeah, no-brainer really to captain a Manchester United asset. Whether you go for Ronaldo or Bruno will be a tighter call, of course, only if you own both, which not a lot of people do. But if you want a free hit, I'd probably recommend it. The only things I would change in this team, I'm going to have a look and see if I can put together a team, actually, where I put together Eddie's 11 now. There's not many changes I'm eyeing up, to be honest, again, which I'm sorry is going to be a bit boring for you. But now it's my time to go away, put together my own team, and see if I can come up with something that's going to outscore the algorithm's predicted 89 points in Game Week 25. So not too many changes once again, unfortunately, to the algorithm team, but I have taken a few punts here and there, but made an effort to keep the team structure the exact same, really. With the Brighton assets, I've stuck with the same three, Sanchez, Cucurella, and Morpay, who I do firmly believe are the best three to target. If you don't want to go with Sanchez because you'd like De Gea in your side instead, you could go for that, but I do think having an outfield United defender is better than having two outfield Brighton ones. I've gone with Dalot over Shaw, as you can see, which is a bit of a personal choice. I don't think that Shaw has the best chance of playing two games, whereas I'm more confident that Wan-Bissaka will remain out of the United side, which gives Dalot a better chance of starting both games against Southampton and Brighton, in my opinion. It's very close between Shaw and Dalot in terms of attacking potential when whoever is on the pitch. I much prefer Luke Shaw when it is Rashford playing off the left. I think he looks absolutely miles better, and that's the way I prefer it as a United fan standpoint. So if Rashford is playing off the left, I would prefer Luke Shaw, but I just don't think you can trust that with Pogba now back in the side and Sancho taking up the left-hand spot a lot of the time. I think that Dalot is probably my favoured pick just about, but it is very close here and there. I've also gone with Ramsey in midfield as a nice punt as well. I think that although his underlying stats admittedly don't look the best, just how he has looked on the eye test, making those runs forward, has played into his play, has helped his play a lot, and I think that Coutinho being in the side only makes him so much better. With the creativity, with the vision that the Brazilian provides, I think that Ramsey is the ideal candidate to be making those runs from deep and ultimately finishing chances. He's shown just how good a finisher he is. So he comes in for Riyad Mahrez, which funds the move for Trent Alexander-Arnold back into the team. I just think it's hard to go without Alexander-Arnold, and although Laporte has got some decent attacking output himself, I think that Trent is unmatched where it comes, and a game against Burnley is hard to ignore. So maybe Watford or Norwich rather will nick a goal against the Citizens. At least stay down there on the bench as well. If you can see that, I've gone for him just in case someone needs to come out of the side. And Marcel, who actually did play in the game against Arsenal last night for Aït-Nouri, who was unfortunately benched for those who've been eyeing him up or indeed did bring him in for their teams in preparation for double game week 26. Aït-Nouri may well play both games or may well start this game against Tottenham, but who knows? I think that Marcel is just one there who won't get in the 11 anyway, but I'm just going for him to highlight the fact that maybe Aït-Nouri isn't the pick if you're looking for a cheap defender to go for in preparation for the upcoming double game week. Other than that, no real changes to note really. Cancelo, Cucurella, Bowen, Salah, Fernandes, Morpay, and Ronaldo will both stay the same, and I have gone with the captaincy on Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, this was such a tight call between Ronaldo and Fernandes. A lot of me wanted to put it on Bruno. I think he is more nailed to play both games for sure, but with Ronaldo's benching against Burnley, I think that makes him set on to play both these games, really. I don't think he'll have been happy with it. I think he'll be first name on the team sheet or thereabouts for these games against Southampton and Brighton. I think his body's more than prepared for it, and I don't think he will have taken it too well. And so Renick, I think, will start him for these two. It's not often that we'll see Ronaldo being benched twice in 3 games. So Ronaldo, I think, is a safe pick to go for. And with him starting both these games, he is so hard to ignore. So yeah, Ronaldo takes the captaincy armband for me. No hard feelings. If you put it on Bruno, I totally understand. There is big arguments for going for both. And Bruno, you'd have to say, is in the better form right now for sure. So yeah, that's going to wrap up Eddie versus the algorithm this week. My predicted points total comes in at 80, so 9 behind the algorithm's 89. We're looking at a big double game week 25 score. So yeah, can it live up to how the algorithm did in 24? That's going to be a different question, but we'll guess only time will tell. With the deadline fast approaching, don't forget to change your own teams, but this is how the algorithm and myself will be lining up in this series. So without further ado, that's it from me. I will catch you later with the best of luck for Game Week 25 wished upon you. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.